Hi, I'm Sarah Wells Rowland, and I decided to make a message for you this morning to go in our newsletter that's giving you an update on where we are in our closure, where we are in our wonderful Vessels of Hope project, where I'm making 500 vessels as a fundraiser to help sustain the Village Potters through this season of closure, but it's also helping to sustain me, and I hope it's helping to sustain you as a vessel of hope as we cling to hope and know and have confidence that we're going to see it through. So I thought I'd show you quickly while I was giving you an update what it's like to center the clay on the wheel, because during this season we too need to remain centered emotionally, spiritually, physically, and find our peace place and our quiet place in and amongst this season. So here's a piece of porcelain on the wheel, and I'm just going to take my hands and push against the clay using the center core of my body as the place that brings centeredness down and through my arms and to the clay. And now I'm compressing the clay upward and I'm bringing it back down. So this clay, every vessel of hope that I make, every pot that we make on the potter's wheel, the first thing that is required is to be centered. I hope you're centered while you're watching this video and through this season. I have made 261 vessels at this point. Over 200 of them have already been claimed by you, our wonderful community of Vessels of Hope. I have made a bundle of 13 videos for potters who would like to purchase those and practice making some of these forms that I'm making. But what I'm challenged to do, and it's exciting, is 500 vessels, each one different. So I just threw one a few minutes ago that is a beautiful vessel, opened, pear-shaped with a swirl in it. And now I'm going to do a vessel that has some strong, straight, cylindrical edges on the same form. So the clay's centered and I'm opening it up. So if you go to our website, there's a link on our newsletter. You can read all about the Vessels of Hope project if you aren't already involved. This week coming up, the first week in May, I'm going to be in a glazing cycle. I've got 260 already through their first firing. And so I will be glazing and loading several kilns in the next 10 days and beginning a firing cycle. And then it'll be back to the wheel to make the second half of these 500 pots. To me, there's nothing more quieting of the spirit than clay in the hands of a potter and watching it move. It ministers to me when I'm making pots, and it ministers to me when I watch people making pots. I've never grown tired of it. So we as potters spend our careers learning how to duplicate things, developing a skill set where we can take a piece of clay, and if we've made something we love, that we actually have the skills to be able to make it again, and it's not easy. And I've done that in my career, but this project is a creative push to make 500 pieces, each one different. I'm going to start making the shape now. You can see my inside hand is doing some work to stretch the clay outward. And you're going to see how I'm going to make a similar shape to the one I just showed you, but by the time I'm done with it, it's going to have a completely different feel and personality. So when all these pots are fired, we're leaving it to Providence in terms of what piece you receive. We're going to package them all up, labeled according to how many needs to be in a package, because some of you have ordered one vessel. Some of you have ordered 5. They're $100 each, and all the proceeds are going to help sustain us during this closure. I'm opening it up, and I'm going upward. And now I'm removing the throwing lines, because you'll see when I do the surface decoration on this vessel that I don't want any of those throwing lines being visible. I'm going to go on the inside and stretch it just a little bit more. You see that? I made it a little more voluminous, and up we go. Now I'm feeling pretty nice about this form. I'm going to go ahead and clean up the base. If you want to read more about this project, please click the link. Also, if you are involved in social media and you aren't following me on Facebook or Instagram, that's under my name, Sarah Wells Rowland, and we also have Instagram and Facebook. That's the Village Potters. Please go join us, because on Mondays and Wednesdays, I'm doing live videos making these vessels. And we're having a lot of fun doing it. Okay, so I'm feeling pretty good about this shape. I want to perfect what I've got at the base just a touch more. There we go. And now I'm going to give this vessel a really interesting and beautiful surface design. And I'm going to use this wonderful rib right here. And I'm just going to take it and push into the clay. And right above it, I'm going to create an edge. Can you see that? I'll bring it forward. And I'm doing it here and creating an edge. Doing it here and creating an edge. And then I have the top one. So now I'm going to go down in the base and make this a little rounded right in here. Crisp up my edges. Choke in the top just a little bit, and then I'm going to show you these 2 unique vessels. I threw the same shape, but once I addressed the surface, they became very, very different. Okay, I'm very pleased with this. I'm going to go ahead and cut it off. And now I want you to see 2 very unique vessels made with 2.5 pounds of clay with 2 very different feels and personalities. Isn't that wonderful? I thank you so much for watching this video. I thank you for your support. I'm going to be sharing some pictures on social media in the first 2 weeks in May of the firing process and the way I'm going to glaze the surfaces of these pots. They're going into multiple kilns. So I welcome you to join me on Facebook and Instagram. I welcome you to click on the link here if you aren't already involved in the Vessels of Hope, and join us in the project. And I sincerely thank you, and for myself and all the residents and people who work here at the Village Potters and study here, I sincerely thank you for your support.